everyone, this is Suzette for Cloudy Sky Today. Today, I am going to be assembling grid wall panels. Actually, this is going to be a voiceover. I already assembled them. I put the information card that came with the grid wall panels, and as you can see, very nice picture, and it was fairly simple to put together. So while I'm in the video putting it together, I will read to you some of my poems. And these are from two different sources. I'm going to do the haiku cactus silhouette because I'm actually working on a cross stitch. Actually, just saw a video on it and said, oh, this looks so interesting. I'm going to try it. I did get the kit, but then I decided I want to do my own image. So I actually went out and got the fabric, got some skeins, but then I ran into a certain color. Maybe I'll make a video with my progress because I like to lie down in bed and do it, so I'm not going to do a video from there. So this one is the cactus silhouette haikus. Admiring sunrise, stroll by the sea, capturing cactus silhouette. The sea and sunrise created the beauty of cactus silhouette. Cactus silhouette greeted us early morning, sunrise, a new day. A new day is here, casting away yesterday for another day. Now, those were the haikus, and I actually saw this cactus when my cousin and I were walking along the seaside, and it was just a lovely view because it was in a silhouette. So as you understand, that's why I need the black skin for the cactus. Probably could get away with doing green, but I already started it in black. Now, these are from the Painting Poet. And it's going to be different, but guess what? At the end, I'm going to decorate the grid wall with some of those paintings that inspired, or vice versa, the words that inspired the painting. Because, as I say in the Painting Poet, words can paint a picture, a painting can say something. When together, they express my emotions, and I hope you feel it. Now, some of the ones I have on the grid wall, because the grid wall is behind me right now, I have the Fleeing Peacock. I have the Sunset 1 and 2. I have some new ones that I have Scurvy Dreams on here, which is a limerick. I actually have the not the 2016, not the oil version, but the one I redid in acrylic. Scurvy Dreams. Many a sailor have sailed these seas, often without enough vitamin C. When they have gone for many moons, the sight of my tail has caused them to swoon, and mistake a manatee for a mermaid due to scurvy dreams. Now, one of the ones I have, I said, was the sunset images. But I also have some other seaside ones, like Boynton Beach Dancer. It was a lovely day, this beach day. Just enough cloud cover, just enough sun. I buried my feet in the sand while the wind twirls my hair on this lovely day, this beach day. The sound of the breeze is like a band. Each leaf on each tree makes a different sound. The sounds play as the leaves sway on this lovely day, this beach day. The company makes it even better as we drove up the coast with the windows down, soaking in the rays, soaking in the day, on this lovely day, on this lovely, lovely beach day. People frolicking in the waves, people are on the sea, sailboats, canoes, kayaks, and jet skis, all enjoying the lure of the shore on this day, on this lovely day, this beach day. And I think with a dance it has a certain rhyme scheme, and I try to subscribe to it as much as possible without sounding too forced. So I do, have a lot of images by the sea. I also have some images of flowers, and of course when I travel I get images, of course, by the sea because I'm cruising, such as leaving Halifax. And as it's hurricane season right now, I'm not going to read that one because I don't want to conjure up any memories of Roxanne or Fiona. I think we're at Humberto at this recording that's out there in the Caribbean. So here's Sunset 1. After walking and wading in the shore, I sit on the beach and wonder, how could I or what can I do more? Reminiscing about the day, playing over some bits, remixing those bits to make a better day, yeah. Then I pause to admire the setting sun, remixing some of its greatest hits with its plethora of colors in the sky. Now, Sunset 2 is the one with the guy under the tree. Under a palm tree, sipping on something as the waves gently hug the sand, and the sun's rays dim their lights as the day fades into night. His silhouette keeps facing towards the horizon. He keeps watching the sun setting while grimacing, because I told him goodbye as I fade from sight. I also like looking at flowers, in my garden. I do already have something called flowers in my garden. I'm going to go back over that. That's in Adventures in the Courtyard. And I recently restarted with watercolor. Now, watercolor is something I did a long time ago, and when I started painting in the pandemic, I did some watercolors. Even though I quickly transferred over to acrylic because it's a more forgiving medium. So I just, the desert rose in my garden finally bloomed. Well, I have more than one, but one of them that never bloomed before bloomed. So I snapped a picture of it. I believe the Lightroom summit was happening, sometime afterwards. I actually used that picture, put it in Lightroom, and did some of the tweaks they were doing because I never used it before, and I was like, I would like to understand how to use this software. And then I was like, I'm gonna do a watercolor, my watercolor rendition. Of course, I can edit with my eyes, remove some of the ground covering and some of the extra blossoms that were coming up that never bloomed, and give it a different feel. And I posted it on Instagram. I got a couple of likes, but I threw a poll up there, but people just like, they don't answer polls. It's okay. But I did like doing the desert rose. I still like doing most of the stuff I have in my garden are mostly succulents, except for that wild dandelion that just wants to grow, which some people say it's a weed, some people say you can eat it. So I actually have 3, and I did enter the piece, I think in 2024, at the Guild in one of the shows. Dandelion wish. Blow on a dandelion to make a wish, not if you want that perfect lawn. Blowing will spread the seeds wide and far. Hope for a shooting star and forego the dandelion to make a wish. Instead, you can use them in a dish, soup, sauteed, or even green drink. The vitamins are better in you than on your lawn, so don't blow on dandelions to make a wish. I also have another one about dandelion. Dandelion seems to have inspired one drawing, but 3 poems. When I was young with dreams, I'd make a wish blowing out those candles. I make a wish blowing on dandelions. Now I'm older with dashed dreams. I still like cake, but no candles, please. I still pick dandelions, but to remove weeds. I don't blow on them, but rather gather them up and place in the trash, like my dashed dandelion wishes. Then I came up with dandelion kisses. She wishes for kisses when she blows out her candles, when she sees a shooting star, when she plucks a dandelion and make a wish. She wishes for world peace when she handles the scandals of her bizarre boss who is like a czar, but she becomes a kid again when she plucks a dandelion and makes a wish. She still wishes for kisses from her lovely grandchildren when they pay her for a visit and walk with her in her garden. Then she sees a dandelion, she shows them how to make a wish. One of the paintings I have up on the grid wall behind me is the Peacocks of Callis Square Historic Village. I actually wrote something about it, which I will share right now. We had driven south and were exploring when we came across this quaint village from Gold's post office to the old rail cars to the apothecary to a clearing in the weir with classic cars, we were amazed. As we walked, something was stirring the leaves. That had our curiosity. Should we stay or should we leave? Then we saw so many plumages of different colors. Peacocks came out of hiding from the dense trees. We were amazed. Now, as you can see, the wheels, the casters I put on first. And I'm just going to talk about the video a little bit because you probably saw me assembling. I did do some things out of order, only because it made more sense to me, but the pictures were very good in what screws were used for what, and the longer ones were used to connect the top and the bottom panels together. So that was very helpful. One of the other things, and I'm just going to talk about the grid wall panels that I did very much like, that triangle on the bottom that's used to, the caster wheels and the panels, also used to stabilize it. I think gives it a lot of strength so it can hold weight, because I've had a couple heavy pieces. Like I said, Sunset 1 and 2 are 16 by 20. I did, of course, put the heavier pieces on the bottom because that's, to me, is common sense. And if there's two, if I have a lighter piece and a heavier piece, or a bigger piece and a lighter piece, and also depending on the frame. So like on one of them, I put 216 and 20. And the good thing about the grid wall is that you can use both sides of the grid wall. You're not limited to just one side. So on one, I put, that painting where I did pour acrylic, and, I tried to do the Starry Night Sky with my blue entry that I did this year with Scurvy Dreams on the bottom. That was on one side. And Scurvy Dreams, I said it was on the bottom, and the other one, my pour acrylic trees on top. On the other side, I have